things.
Absolutely, and what's so cool is because of it's such a massive region, right? There's so many active players. That means that there's so much budding talent just waiting to be discovered. We're gonna get right into it here on Inferno, our first Inferno of the day. A classic at that. So here you go. It's gonna be the map pick of Warthox. And problem, the heaviest hitter of them all in their first matchup. He's gonna get tagged down to 13 HP.
The good old Dink onto problems. He's going to be on the back foot for the time being. Fortunately, though, on the CT side, he can afford to just play a bit more passively and watch the tight angles. There are 2 smokes, a Molotov, and a HE, or pardon me, a flashbang, I should say, for Sviat. And they do have the bomb currently in apps. So not really showing their hand just yet, but they have plenty of utility when they do decide to go ahead and press forward.
Right now, just probably going to be flash for Pit as well. Jackpot just as blind as he can be. That's perfectly executed flash, though. Secondary bait inside of Pit. Only going to get 1, and that's a pretty solid A-side take from DreamEaters here. Not really too much you can complain about that.
Yeah, that flash into Molotov was pretty sick. There was no chance for Jackpot to do anything. It was either he burns alive, and I don't think he even realized he was burning.
Yeah, I think he was just like, I think he thought he found the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Behind the wall, but obviously, yeah, you're either standing in front of 3 players or you're dying to fire. Either way, you'll be dead. Alrighty, we can see Warthox have no intention of actually feeding away their utility or light Kevlar into this retake situation. Understandably so as well. The DreamEaters are going to be the one to go up 1-0, and I think just off of the back of the fact that we have more information to go off of on the side of DreamEaters, I would side towards them in a best-of-3 series. That's very vague stuff, obviously, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, the statistics definitely favor them. So I was going to say this before, that on terms of Inferno, his Problem's going to try and save his Kevlar is successful. But in terms of Inferno, it's pretty similar. 56% win rate to a 60%, and that's in favor of Warthox. But DreamEaters have played it 9 times as opposed to the 5 times in Warthox. However, when we get to Overpass, DreamEaters have played it 10 times. Warthox have only played it twice.
Yeah.
So this could be a bit of an issue if DreamEaters do, and this is the pick of Warthox as well, it should be mentioned. So if Warthox do concede this map, you have to fear the worst for them.
Yeah, and especially because DreamEaters, I mean, as you said, they don't have necessarily a better win rate statistically, but they've ran into quite a bit better opposition, I'd say. I mean, they've played against Vegas Squadron, Copenhagen Flames, Blue Jays, Havu, for example, to name a few. And I mean, if you're looking at the tier 3 levels, that's teams that you've heard of. You've seen them play, and you know that they're no slouches.
And to make matters a little bit spicier, DreamEaters have, with that first round win, got Warthox into a forced buy. So if they can see this, they are off to a pretty rough start. Does include an MP9 and a bunch of pistols, but as a result, no kits and a lack of utility. So this is already a little bit concerning, Van.
It is. We're just going to get the drop on Jackpot, as he's not able to get the immediate connection with the Deagle. Gospodarov is in a pretty decent spot to actually utilize that CZ to its full potential, but as you can see the wrap, it's going to be increasingly hard for him to stay alive.
He's going to have to come out with quite the bang.
Nearly does it as well.
It's definitely not a name that rolls off the tongue either. Gospodarov.
I feel like I'm half a second away from going Gorbachev or something like that. Just really straying off.
Good old Gorbachev, just wrecking fools.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kinky, interesting name, is going to be found from Mincy.
At least it's one of the more straightforward ones, right? You know what he was looking for with Kinky.
Warthox, though, are going to concede a second. They've got an AK-47, which would be a really solid takeout of the round.
Yeah, I think that's going to be how it all pans out as well. No reason for Flash here to run into anyone from DreamEaters who still has full Kevlar and also 5.7, so you're going to do some damage with that. Now, he's actually going to find an MP9 too. Now can potentially drop off the pistol to one of his teammates. All things considered, it's not the worst situation in the world here for Warthox. Can do some damage with this. Potentially if they decide to stack as well, depending on how good of a job DreamEaters do of actually clearing out the vicinity and all the nooks and crannies. Might get dicey. We'll see, though.
As you say, with saving the MP9 and AK-47, they are going to be putting the AK on the B side of the map and running the MP9 also on the B side of the map, which is pretty interesting. You'd expect that maybe they'd split it up.
Might just be trying to feign some, I guess, presence over towards the A bomb side and see if DreamEaters bite on that, thinking it might be a stack, and head over towards A, right into this little improvised boost from Mints.
Yeah, they're looking for the pop flash from Flash, who is now making a move over onto A. A smoke and a flashbang in the eyes of Arches. Gonna have to give this one up for the time being. Smoke's being deployed towards the library. And now the push is imminent. Sviat, he pop flashing off the side, but Jackpot is a step ahead. He knows what to expect. There is a second flash in, which is going to cost Flash his life.
And they've gotten pit control here as well. So with 45 seconds left, they can kind of wait out the nades here down on site. Just take their time. No need to run into anything. Kinky playing aggressively on Arch. Just going to find one. And yeah, with DreamEaters just understanding what kind of advantage they have, not really forcing the issue, they're going to be coming away with that as clean as you can get.
Yeah, it was good to see. I mean, I feel like some especially sort of low experience teams in this sort of a position may try and force the issue and snatch at it, but it was good to see them have more of a clarity of mind to just say, look, we still got 30 seconds. We know we're massively ahead when it comes to firepower and nades. Let's just systematically take this site and make sure we don't lose any unnecessary players.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the worst nightmare you can see as a spectator there is them trying to charge through that smoke on site, right? There's no idea where to look once they come out of it. Easily get traded. And all of a sudden, everything just gets out of control. Now, though, first buy round coming in here. Warthox have picked up an op on Gospodora. Darov, I should say. So it's going to be a utility issue here. So even though Problem is able to find one, tagged down to 13 HP, it's more the utility situation that has you a bit worried if you're the CTs right now.
Yeah, especially as they've just thrown out another smoke. That's an interesting one too. It's not funneling off the actual entry points. They're going to try and push behind this. Nearly get speed. And a flashbang lands in the eyes of Minzy. And our Problem's alone. And he was the player on 13 HP, so he needs Flash 1 to make a move around from the CT side and help him out. Going to be smoke in his eyes. He can't do anything right now. Problem's been found. He does land a dink before he drops, so he's at least doing significant damage, but it feels as if this win streak is going to continue from DreamEaters.
Yeah, it's very hopeful for Warthox to hope for a retake here. They don't have a defuse kit. They don't have any nades. You add an op into that with an already disadvantageous position. It's just better off to save, and it seems like they've come to terms with that as well.
Yeah, it was a strange smoke and then a peak, wasn't it? Because you're effectively taking away your advantage. They got the first kill. Maybe they just felt compelled and pressured because of the lack of utility.
I think that might be it, right? Like, how do you set up for a retake without utility, and how do you actually fend off an actual B execute? If you give DreamEaters enough space to do whatever they want in Banana, then you're probably screwed anyway. And I'm kind of curious as to how it all panned out, because we could see like one of the smokes that were lying on top of the car position, right? But they also extinguished their own Molotov. So I'm curious if they threw the Molotov specifically just to have the smoke extinguished so you can spot feet. Yeah. And basically, if you're in T in that position, you have no actual angle to spot under the smoke, even if you're crouching, giving a significant advantage for the CTs. Just didn't quite pan out the way they wanted to with the pop flash coming in from the T side. Because
generally, most teams are just going to throw the smoke into the obvious choke point on the entrance. Yeah. But it was definitely a practice play.
Some time, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's why they wanted to do it as well. We've seen Vitality do something similar. They don't actually smoke off their own Molotov. They just kind of section off the top part of Banana to see if they can wide swing behind it and actually find some picks, usually in mid rounds. I mean, if you can get if there's two people, you know, if you're thinking about how most top tier teams take Banana control, if you can swing that into, you know, sectioning off the two players or set towards Banana and making that into a 1v1, then you happily take that any single day.
Here come the barrage of smokes. Jackpot try and hold on to his position. He's actually blocking players. This is really well done.
Oh.
And now that the splashes are clearing, oh, he got caught in two minds. Does he pull out a knife? Did he just try and reload? Did he pull out a pistol? And in doing so, he's face planted. But his team still have a player advantage, and they have 2 players already on the site itself. So DreamEaters, if they're going to take this A site, they're going to have to be barraging through all 4 remaining CTs. I do wonder if they have half a mind to just pull back. They've got 40 seconds to go, but Minzy's got the cross. He's thinking better of it, though.
CIS got utility, though. He's throwing out a smoke that's going to cover off Archway here. So, yeah. Means he's going to have to either commit or hang out behind. Molotov onto sight. So Clear have a lot of space already here for themselves. Gospodarov actually being able to land that shot onto Kinky from kind of a forced position is really, really vital for them. That could have swung out of control pretty easily. To get into that situation on in a 2v2, very doable for the T's. Yeah, Crad was wondering why he couldn't back further out.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird because crad to me sounds like I don't know, like an 80s or 90s term. Like, that's so crad, dude.
When I hear crad, I think about like he's meant to be one of the sidekicks to Shredder. You know?
Yeah. From
like Rocksteady and Bebop and then crad.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What's the name of the brain? Is it Krang?
I think it's Krang.
Yeah, that's probably why I think. Yeah. Crad and Krang. That just
showing
sounds
our
like
age a little bit here, Ben.
Yeah.
Classic TV series, though. Horrible movies, of course. And Sviat's dead. Rest in peace. He was very low, to be fair. The angle trying to take the fight to the terrorist.
Still wins it out.
I like the aggression.
Your problem's been active up in Banana so far. Definitely, well, pardon the pun at advance, and this is going to happen a lot. It's been a problem for DreamEaters to deal with. Forcer, though, finds the right timing. Land a shot onto Jackpot. Flash is luckily there to respond. Forced actually backed in to Apps again. He's not comfortable with the situation. Speed, though. Managing to split up the defense here pretty decently. And Gospodarov getting aggro here. Just to get the Molotov to section them off. Bomb's been picked up, though, so it's pretty much free reins for Forster as to where he wants to go here, but he's going to have to deal with the flank as well coming in from Mincy.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of meme names for Warthox.
I really have.
Jackpot, Flash One. It's going to be Forrester, though, that needs to come out and make something special happen with 23 seconds to go. Nice shot by Problem. Didn't have much room for error on low HP.
Yeah. Forrester had the right ID, though. Lined up the angle pretty nicely, just couldn't react in time. And again, if you swing on that, it's a tough angle actually down in pit to deal with the guy coming out of balcony if he comes out with enough speed. So see the updated odds from GG.bet. Favoring DreamEaters, so I guess which at least I landed on being my favorite for the best of 3s, simply just off of how much they've played at I guess higher level than the Warthox in terms of playing online tier 3 leagues.
Yeah, I think from like statistically speaking, and they do play like a higher, on average, higher level of teams. I think that's fair odds. Forrester's been tagged heavy with a Molotov burning him to a crisp. They want to just press forward and press W all the way into the side, but Jackpot with the M4 double spray alongside Flash One. And that is the round pretty much tied up in a neat little bow. There's very little that Speed can do with his CZ.
Yeah.
It's just a whole lot harder.
All you want now for Warthox is to keep everybody alive. Can't really fault DreamEaters for the commitment, at least, to the strategy. Everybody just diving through Molotovs and smokes. Doesn't quite pan out. Speed could definitely get the drop on one of these players, but it's going to be the other way around. Flash finds yet another kill.
So they are changing their fortunes. It was 4-0, looking pretty ominous, but they've bounced back. Here's the replay from Problem, who just went super aggressive down Banana. The downside for that, though, is you can't really rest on getting 2 kills from Banana every round. They're going to expect and anticipate those kind of pushes now.
Yeah. Most definitely the case. See, though, for now, though, still around for Warthox here to solidify their economy. So there's Steagles out predominantly for the Russians. DreamEaters.
Yeah, Gosper Darov does seem to have very, very quick flick sort of warping style. It'll be interesting to see how he does as this best of 3 matures. There is the frag onto King. He was already tagged up before from Minzy. They've got a nice crossfire established. That's the bomb dropped, and with it should be the round. Just Desert Eagles, really. It was a minimal investment round.
Minzy continuing to push forward as well. That's not something crowd's going to be expecting. Also gets taken out. So no damage down, not even a single point of health lost. That's got to feel good. Is it just me, or does Jackpot sit extremely low in his chair?
He's like...
It's like Table's chest height.
Yeah, that is a bit of a strange one, isn't it? I kind of wince when I see people's posture like that to a degree, but then I also wince when I see people's monitor like 1 centimeter in front of their face. I don't know how they do it.
Centaur special.
Yeah. I have to sit like a decent distance back, and they're going to go aggressive again. This time they actually will come out ahead. I'm really surprised by that. I think Speed missed a couple of shots.
He definitely did give Mincy the time to actually readjust, find the second frag. Initial 3-man setup from Warthox working out swimmingly to start us off. Still, though, right now with the setup they have, they're actually pretty susceptible for pushes on both sides. Obviously, 8, a lot of ground to be covered with only 2 players, and I mean, 2 defenders towards B is kind of the standard way of going about it. You still have enough utility on the side of DreamEaters to smoke out for CT spawn. Mincy's not boosted up anywhere, so you can't necessarily do anything outside of rotate over towards Coils, where Problem finds himself. So at that stage, you're kind of stuck. That's not going to help the case either. Crad with a double entry onto the site.
So they're
just
looking
like
for
that, yeah.
Great flashbang too. Destroyed that second player on the B site, and Warthox not in a position to really go for the retake. Obviously, Inferno is the kind of map where you will see a lot of saves on the CT side. Both sides are pretty rough to retake, especially if you have AWPs in play. But DreamEaters is going to stop the 4-round win streak and get themselves in the lead once again. Going back to that point of the very low seeing position, I never understood how JDM could play with his lounge sort of style, man. Like, I just never got that.
It doesn't make sense to me either. Like, I'm the kind of guy who leans more towards having to, I guess, sit inside the monitor more so than leaning back.
Yeah, yeah. Because I don't feel engaged unless I'm sat, like, really alert and attentive. You know, if I'm sat back, it's normally if I'm playing, like, something really chill.
Exactly. You got to have the forward lead, right?
Yeah. Well, it's been a pretty rough day at the office for Sviat so far. 1-1-8. But his team is still in the lead, so you have to think if he can pick things up, then it could get pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, if your team is winning rounds at the very least as an in-game leader, you're doing something right. He's got that going for him. Now back to full buys once again. It's got to be double ops on the side of Warthox, and Gospodarov getting aggressively. He's going to get flashed off the angle, though. Has to retreat to Arch Corner. Yeah, so far, I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot of fakes, have we? It's just been a lot of names and heavy committal all the way through.
There has been a lot of rushes, or at least pushing together aggressively, even if it's in the last few moments of the round. They are properly committing in. But not Maniz, I knew what was going to happen. Minzy with the second AWP.
I mean, you called it out. You warned everyone at the start.
I said it happened 3 times. So there, I've got my first strike.
And we'll see if Jackpot can find something. Well, timing doesn't quite suit him. Forster's ready for it. That leaves Flash alone, and he's got a whole lot of stuff to deal with. Well, finds Kinky. Starts off with a soft shot, but Sviat on the wrap around. Makes quick work of him. That was a hopeful charge from Problem out of library. It's not going to pan out for him as well. So 6th round for DreamEaters, getting back into it now after a hot start and then being cooled down.
It's been streaky. This is the same thing we had in the Americas minor too, where teams would just go off to these rampant 6 or 7 round streaks, and the other team would bounce back, and we just have it backwards and forwards. And the thing with the Flash one's play, it did look a bit awkward and clumsy, but at the end of the day, he knew he was encircled. He was just trying to do as much damage as he possibly could because he knew he was dead. So it didn't look like the cleanest of Counter-Strike, but you definitely can't fault him.
That's absolutely true. I mean, sometimes you're just pushed into a corner. There's not a whole lot you can do. And so, yeah, you highlighted him for not having the hottest start, but 2 frags to his name in this round. So now everybody's getting on the board for the side of DreamEaters.
I can't argue with that. 2 big entries. Solid aim, too. They've gone back to double AWPs. They're happy enough with this composition of weaponry.
It's an expensive one, though. Problem. Out of banana. Not going to find anything. That's a bad smoke. I mean, it leaves a gap, sure, that you can deal with, but also plenty of opportunities for the CTs if they were to swing wide. Just unrelenting about maintaining banana control.
I mean, there are some gaps, though. Arches is completely open. Flash One is starting to make a move around, desperately trying to make sure that they don't go inside that gap. There's double stacking outside of Apps. Jackpot's leg was spotted, and Forrester's going to capitalize on that. Gospodarov did just catch a glimpse of a player before the flashbang landed, so he's still going to be chipping in with a kill, and Warthox do take the advantage in this round in terms of manpower. Good smoke is going to stymie the push, but Fiat still got an entry. Flash One, the timing could not have been worse. As he drops down, he gets peeked by Crad.
Well, speaking of bad timing, Kinky, he thought he had the rotation over towards B once they found the kill on the rotating player over in spawn, so that means bombs dropped. Mincy has all the details he needs, really, to deal with this, even if it is at a man disadvantage.
He's playing the angle well, but he has no idea if there's a player coming down banana. Now he realizes they're both through mid. He's doing a lot of damage.
No. I think this is the same player. He
yeah,
thought that was one of the same, and yep,
he's
going to get tucked away.
T-steps.
Yeah, he thinks he's gotten the bomb covered off. He's in for a real surprise here. So the shock is announced. Now he needs to make his way forward. At least he gets the right bomb site.
It's going to be coming head to head. I think he's going to get the timing on Mincy. No, he doesn't. But where this bomb is planted, it's open for so many spots. Library, also Apps, Pit, Graveyard, the site itself. Mincy has nothing at all in terms of information. There's so many angles he has to watch out for. But he's going to try and draw out the player into the open. And he's going to find Crad. He doesn't have a kit, though.
Oh, it's just
there we go. He's picked one up. Doesn't have time.
Ah, that's a bitter one to swallow. That is really, really rough. Did a super good job of, yeah, as you said, baiting Crad into a position where you have to peek. And again, even though it's a limited angle to clear out, or I guess to diffuse from, it's not the typical angle that you take, right, from that corner of our quad. So not necessarily done it perfectly is going to mean that you're exposed to anyone standing on top of the boxes. That's exactly what happens. Just not finding the kit in time. Actually died to the bomb as well, making matters worse.
Yeah, so no saved assault rifle either. So scout and pistols. Well played in the end. Good clutch by wasting the time. The DreamEaters, they're not content to sit idly by. They want to get in the thick of the action again. Super aggressive round. Out through Apps, 3 players waterfall into Pit, but nobody's home. They're going to find Jackpot, the one lone defender on A. While 2 more come through Library. It's the scout wielding Flash One and Gospodarov with a deagle. Going to be boosting back onto Quad. It should yield a kill, but Problem does flick back with a P250 shot. Nicely done. It is just a drop in the bucket, though. The round is pretty much already conceded. Especially his Problem has met his demise to Kinky's hand with the AK-47. He's gone in again, trying to pad them stats. So now this is starting to get into very dangerous territory again, Ven. On the T side, they're going to be 8-4 in the lead, and Warthox, not really with a great economy. They're going to be able to buy in the next round, but they haven't really got control yet.
Yeah, it's not the greatest of buys. It's very true. And then keep in mind, I mean, if you look back at the map that they played versus Nemiga, they were able to, well, net CT rounds in a much quicker succession than what they are right now. But it was the T side where they did most of their work, 10-5 first half. And still, We'll see if there's still some fight left in him. I can't get over the seating position. Yeah, it just doesn't look comfortable. I mean, assuming he has the chair at the lowest setting and everything, but
it's strange, isn't it? Because he's not slouched in terms of his back straight, but it kind of looks like he is because of how low down he is.
I'm trying to like lower my chair to see how this would work out. I guess one thing that you do get is you kind of get the entire table as an armrest, right? In like a really comfortable position.
Sure.
I guess in that sense, maybe that's the comfort level. Maybe that's why he's gone for it. Who knows?
So does that suggest he's more of a wrist player then?
Yeah. So he just wants the most stability as possible.
Yeah.
You don't want like the just having to, I guess, lift your arm, as lazy as that sound, but those kind of things actually matter for wrist players. We don't have too many of them left these days, it feels like.
Right. And if you're a wrist player, typically that means your sensitivity is a bit higher because you don't have as much sort
wiggle
of
room.
range of movement.
Yes. There you go. Smoke goes down again. This time without the Molotov. Ooh, Speed actually being able to find Mitzi, but problem. Finds two for himself, so you're okay with that trade. Sviat taking significant damage as well.
It was an odd trade at that, too. It was pretty scrappy from DreamEaters trying to push through a Molotov and taking a lot of damage. Didn't really get anything for their trouble either.
They might have figured, like, once that Molotov was down and they see the smoke flying over, they're expecting a similar play to what we saw the last time.
Yeah.
Out of Warthox, which was them pushing aggressively, so DreamEaters figured might beat them to the punch. So they get heavily punished for it.
Yeah, the aggro peak Molotov smoke that you mentioned, you could see the feet on the car.
The thing now is that Warthox has once again gone back to that 2-2 setup, and that leaves both bomb sites pretty susceptible. We saw Krad being able to open up B all by his lonesome. Because, I mean, as a team, you're used to going up against two CT defenders on B. And if you can ever get up against an A defense with only two players, you feel pretty happy about that. So, pressure on both sides. Actually, not going to last for long. Sviat thinks he's sold something over towards the B bomb side, but Problem's pretty much rushing up with him. Leaves Forrester. Missed shot from Gospodarov. Bomb still dropped. He's going to be able to stay alive as well. So, op maintained. 3 players staying alive. That's a good sign for Warthox.
Yeah, this is the play from Problem. You can see the players running out through the Molotov, taking a chunk of damage, and he'd read the script. He knew exactly what Sviat was up to. Was not buying it at all. Chased him down. And Warthox, had they have lost an extra player at the end, it would actually would have hurt their buy in this round. You can still see they're still coming through the FAMAS. But the flash was really, really powerfully placed. Going to try and take control of Banana, but a solid flash and smoke has been deployed, and Gospodarov is going to have to peace out.
I actually think that if he stood wide enough, he would have had a pretty decent angle down towards Banana, but visible as well. And once again, it's just the immediate commitment from DreamEaters. Once they throw nades, they follow up behind it every single time.
Yeah, it's no frills Counter-Strike. It's very effective because they keep catching Warthox in this weird transitional period where they're trying to pull back to the site and they just get caught in the middle of the open.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that feels like a bit of a read from DreamEaters. They notice that this is a, the smokes that they're throwing, the nades that are coming down Banana, that's indicative of a 3-man setup over towards B, so we're just immediately going to punish Arch because we know that's going to be the weak spot on the map, and you're not going to have a rotation back in time. And it works brilliantly. 4 alive, after plant position, not really a whole lot Warthox can do, especially when Krad's hitting those kind of shots. Not a favorable angle for him to take initially. Gospodarov should be able to land that, and does so as well, and that kind of starts the hunt.
And their economy is not in fantastic shape either, so DreamEaters can't afford to lose too many more guns. Good shot to Sviat. Nothing wrong with that, and that should yield him the saved AWP. There's a player on CT, but he's not going to have enough time to get close enough. So successful save on the AWP in the last round of the half. That bolsters their buy significantly.
Absolutely. If Gospodarov is feeling it, could go aggressive, see if he can find some openings. Yeah, that's a wild shot. We've seen some pretty hefty AWP talents come out of the CIS region or being on the rise. I think Z-Power on Force is a definite one to be looking out for.
That's what we were talking about earlier as well. You know, coming into this is a chance for these players to show what they can do on the global stage, to really grab the attention of potential orgs or even other players to try and leapfrog their way up the ladder.
Absolutely.
So if you're landing crazy shots like that and you manage to somehow qualify for the major, okay, things are going to start to get very interesting.
Well, very much so. You'd have to imagine, right? Like it feels like this is the case for pretty much anybody in Counter-Strike Pro in the CIS region. The end game is always to play for Navi, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has to be the goal for most of them. But again, obviously, like Navi have to go through a stage of, I guess, if you want to call it, not revolution, but revitalization, right? Where literally just the older players on the side eventually stop playing, whether it's Sue's retiring and so on. They will have to find new players eventually, and maybe Boomich is not the right fit after a while, or maybe they decide to make some changes where Flamey is the one out. You could very well be the next one up if you've been able to post the results and actually show the individual skill and prowess in a stage like this.
We're going to see some confrontation in apps. Or just outside of app, Mincy using an angle they haven't utilized just yet. And DreamEaters going to be potentially moving into a 4-player stack in mid. With this kind of setup, though, you feel like a couple of well-placed flashbangs can completely destroy Warthox. There's the MP line from the side, runs out of ammunition. And that's going to cost Problem his life. A trade going completely in favor of the terrorists. You could see what they were looking for then, Vendetta, but they didn't have the firepower to supplement it.
You could imagine how different that situation could have been if Problem is on, well, almost even if a Moss, but definitely with an M4. Gaspadara. You do literally have every nade at your disposal that you would like in a retake, in addition to a kit, but problem is having to go through this kind of a smoke, and yeah, before he even sees the day of light, it's going to be shut down. 10-5 for DreamEaters. Solid T-half.
That was the barrel of the gun sticking out before he got round, which is why a lot of players, when they're opening, actually will look to the ground, or they'll switch to USP in the smoke. Yep. It can be a nightmare. Yeah, as you say, 10-5, so in a pretty commanding shape going through into the CT side event, but you did say that it was the T side really where Warthox shone earlier.
Yeah, that was the case for just Amiga, and they're going to have to, well, pretty much replicate that exact performance in the second half if they want to have a shot at it, but remains to be seen. DreamEaters so far looking pretty damn decent, but we'll find out. But first, quick commercial break.
A rocky start for Warthox in our winners' best of 3 matchup. Their choice of map has yielded DreamEaters 10-5 in the lead on Inferno, but now the roles reverse and their stronger side from what we saw previously is upon us. But that pistol, of course, so vitally important to kick things off with a bang. Otherwise, if DreamEaters, you have to think, if they can get themselves a decent economy here on the CT side, this could be a bridge too far.
It very well could be, and well, it remains to be seen what Warthox have in store for us, but yeah, definitely not the first half that they would have liked to to see. It's going to be immediate perch down towards second mid from Speed. Not going to find a whole lot just yet. And similar approaches actually from both sides on their respective pistol rounds. Just rather slow and steady.
Gospodarov is really playing with fire. At that kind of range, the USP will triumph over the Glock. But Kinky still's going to pull back. Sviat here, he's got an incendiary too. So the idea is if the call comes through, they're going to rush. You'll plant that down. There'll be a lot of damage, although there are 2 smokes, one of which could be used to extinguish, I should say, the Molotov. But they are being tossed in. Kinky's trying to block the smoke, not going to quite work out. Flashbang behind it, but there's the incendiary placed into position. Going to try and waste some valuable time, get DreamEaters across, get themselves bolstered in with an extra player to repel the push. Sviat perched at the back of the site, trying to open up with the USP. That's the bomb that's gone down first. But now the kill's starting to come in. The terrorists are overwhelming the site. They're swarming in. And with Kinky on low HP, he can't really go in and try and stop this plant from coming into fruition. So heavily in favor of the terrorists as it stands.
Real curious as to what Sviat was doing there. Bomb's just about to go down. Nobody on the side of DreamEaters is able to find a kill here. And it's going to get real rough to actually get in on this. Just falling like flies. They pretty much had one window. I have no idea what Sviat wanted to do in that situation because he runs out of bullet, but he keeps running forward towards Fountain instead of just backing out behind new boxes, continue to be a nuisance, and still do damage. It's, yeah, I don't know if it's just like got all excited, misplaced your finger, like set up, I guess, on the keyboard and started running forward by accident. Who knows?
I don't have an answer for you because that could have been an extra 3 or 4 seconds that was wasted trying to hunt him down, and it could have allowed the CT players to move in through garden side. Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. Problem though, doesn't care about the pass. He's going to focus on the here and now, and that's delivering an AK-47 headshot first class to Krad. Was a force buy. I think it's almost identical force to what Warthox did, a scout and pistols.
Seems pretty, yeah. Might be down to the exact correct amount of pistols as well in terms of 1ZZ and 257s and so on. See if they can actually find something for it, though. Kinky and Forster are set up in good positions here, though. The question is just how Warthox are going to attack this mid area. If they throw a pop flash in here, it's just done. And Speed is actually going to go forward. Oh, checks the wrong angle at the wrong time. That's a flash and a half.
Yeah, it really lulled them into a false insecurity, and with the kill on Mincy on the outside of Apps, that funnels away the terrorists, and also the bomb's in a horrible spot too. It's the wrong side of mid. You cannot take anything for granted. It's a player advantage to DreamEaters. The downside for them is they've not been able to get their hands on any of the fallen weapons. They're still in pistols.
Yeah, and look at them. Might get a preemptive read here, sending 2 players over towards the B bomb. So they're actually going to have Sviat perking his way down towards Banana to find some information early on, and that's going to allow for Forrester to move back. A lot of information gained, and they know what's about to hit them. For Kinky, it's all about staying alive for a little bit longer.
10 seconds, though, and he's seen Flash. If this bomb gets dropped, it's all over. So much time being wasted. Even without the kill, there's no time. Forrester just needs to stay alive. DreamEaters have done it in a pistol round, forcing up. They've somehow, some way salvaged this and stolen it away.
That's a rough one for Warthox as well. I guess the one big thing here, though, if you're going to lose a round, at least you lose it staying alive with 2 players who have AKs, so you can rebuy into it. It's not like the CT side buy is going to be that great either. So there is a bit of a silver lining at the very least, but yeah, that's not how you want to play out your second round. But again, the pop flash into mid, the delay play from Kinky as well. Just solidly played from DreamEaters from start to finish. To be fair, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we saw on the T side as well. They were just very well drilled. So yet in a very rough angle. Not actually able to, well, do much of anything really. Just damage, but no kill.
Yeah, there's a flash thrown in, but I don't think it affected him at all.
Crad, hello? There we go. That's the right direction. I was wondering if Flash is on. He's already in ruins.
Oh, big kill. And it's a clean one. AK-47 will trade hands. They're thinking about pulling the plug and getting out of here. They only have 2 pistols and a MAC-10 and a very low Minzy with no grenades, only the flashbang.
Kinky's going to be able to get onto the site at the very least here.
Decent flash. Going to get them a kill and a bomb plant. And they're both healthy. They can't get to that fallen gun, though, the M4 that was sprawled out into the open. But Gospodarov, close on short, gets the upper hand on Crad. Forrester now, 1 on 2, does have some grenades to play with. And he spotted both the terrorists, but they're peeking him 1 by 1. Takes a dink, but it's at long range from the MAC-10.
He's going to start to run out of time, though. He's not even going to attempt it. He feels that's too far gone. I'm not really sure if I'm quite sold on that either, though, but he's going to play it safe. Hold on to that AK, I guess. Maintain that one-tap potential. Oh man, okay, back and forth we go. Warthox being able to do a lot with a little. And that's even with their initial weapons, their AKs falling apart on the initial B hit. That got completely busted apart. See here, situation where I'd say Sviat probably should be able to land at the very least 1 kill with the MP9, considering he's flashed in, but wasn't to be.
I take nothing away from Warthox, though. They did a really great job of utilizing very little firepower they possessed. Landing headshots across the board. Now DreamEaters have gone in for a force behind the AK. It's bottom of the barrel stuff, though. They're on the brink of collapse.
Situation is ideal. Position is ideal at this Forster. Even though he doesn't really come into play, it's, again, the 5-7 from Kinky. Double kill once again. Warthox ran right into that one. 4-man stack over towards B, doing its charm. Now as well, it's taking them so long to actually react to this on the side of Warthox. That speed is going to be in a great position to potentially punish this as well.
He's playing it really well. Additionally, he's not showing his hand too early so that he can get the free kill, although he's whiffed that. But it doesn't really make a great deal of difference. Sviat's helped him out. And Mincy knows they could be flanking from the side. I'm just so confused. Like, I get that you walk into a 4-stack, and that's obviously
not ideal.
Not the dream.
Yeah.
But you're not using any of your Molotovs to deal with the close angles or any of the angles at all. There's so many easy Molotovs to toss on the site. No flashbangs, no smokes.
Yeah, you just kind of...
You're playing into the stack. Like, look at this, just easy kills.
Yeah, it seemed like they just kind of hoped for the best going off of contact play, and I'm not really sure why they'd ever do that, but there we have it. They do get punished for it, though.
Because when you know that the opposition has saved an assault rifle or an AK-47, you've got to assume that a force buy is very possible, that it could be coming in, and you're just about to walk into that sort of a trap. So you've got utility for a reason.
Exactly. And I mean, it's like you said, right, they should be aware of the possibility for it. If you think it's the likelihood that you would probably buy up in this scenario, that's definitely a thought that's crossed your opponents as well. I mean, we've seen Warthox buy up, I mean, in, pretty dire situations. I mean, speaking of, it's not the kind of force buy you'd like to see, but that's the one you've been given. UMP as, well, your long-range weapon outside of the Deagle.
And this does feel a tad self-inflicted, too, as a result of the arrow grenade splash damage onto 3 players, about 100 HP taken in the process. Certainly a money nade, one of which was the aforementioned UMP wielding Mincy.
Proved to be pretty big for players like Speed and Sviat, considering they've got FAMASs and MAC-10s.
And much like DreamEaters, they're not messing about. They're going to commit fully to this push, trying to get their hands on Crad.
He's just running away.
He's sprinting for his dear life. And of course, the call will come out to Sviat, who's playing on B alone. That this is possible, but they've actually really peaked, and Jackpot has had a bit of a rough game. is going to be connecting with the Desert Eagle.
That was a bit of a weird one from Crowd to be that eager to run behind. Especially with how insistent Warthox were to actually wrap around, but speeding. Find 2 and Kinky and Forrester combined for 1 each. Just like that, it all falls apart. I think it's, yeah, Crowd in that scenario, when they dive that heavily for you, the actual push onto B is not going to be as quick as you might initially expected, right? So unless you've heard something immediately from the sole B defender at that stage, I think you just kind of have to let it rest for a little bit, see what happens instead of just running forward.
Well, normal service did resume on the site when they pushed in. Some solid SMG work, close range, but 13-7 the scoreline. And it's Warthox's choice of Inferno, and again, we're talking about the next map. It doesn't really bode well for Warthox. They haven't played it a great deal. DreamEaters certainly will be in the favoured position. Going to try and take the fight to the terrorists. Sviat's going to take the initiative down Banana alongside Krad. Using the Smoker's Sanctuary. Warthox just really hoping for the best, hoping that maybe someone from DreamEaters makes a mistake, gives them a weapon across. And it could happen if Sviat gets overwhelmed, but the FAMAS spray, 4 kills. Going back in for the ace won't be happening, but the damage has already been done. And the round finalized. 14-7, DreamEaters just too shy of taking the opposition's map.
Not bad. DreamEaters are doing it in pretty convincing fashion as well. It felt like throughout their entire T side, they were just well drilled. They knew what they wanted to do. They committed when they well, pretty much had anything in their mind. It worked out brilliantly. So far now, you can kind of see how they were able to get to this stage as well. They trounced Spirit completely, and that was on the map that we're going into, an overpass. Yeah.
Indeed. The one by Warthox have only played it a couple of times, as opposed to DreamEaters have played it a chunk. Gospodarov thinking about maybe pushing through middle with the rest of his team, and it feels to me that we're getting into sort of desperation territory. They're going to go for another very aggressive play up arches. They're taking a chunk of damage from a Molotov. 2 of them tagged down to 50. Speed may not anticipate the push to his right-hand side. Up in the graveyard, different angle, verticality is going to cost him, and alongside Forrester, this is much better. Warthox, there's nothing particularly nuanced about it, Vendetta, but you can't argue how efficient it's been and how effective.
The results speak for themselves. Speed that entire time just were like half a second late with everything he thought about and wanted to do. Swiftly, Warthox takes that bomb site without too much of an issue. That said, though, it shouldn't be too much of an issue for DreamEaters to purchase up again as well. They've got 2 AKs being held on to for the time being. But again, reserves in stock.
It's one of those kind of rounds that from a CT perspective, you just think, fair enough. You played really aggro through arches. I don't necessarily want to say it's a gimmick play, but it's not really one that you can rest another 5 or 6 rounds and say you can definitely just push there again.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be your default, to put it that way.
It can be easily plugged as well, though we have seen a couple of rounds. I think it was Krad that got chased into library when they're on pistols. Maybe they're going to focus this as a potential weak spot. So I'll be curious to see if they do keep pressing and trying to punish that side of the map.
Time will tell. For now, though, DreamEaters have quite a few rounds to figure out what they want to do, and at least pretty hefty 6-round. Oh, Gospodarov gets tagged up, but still gets the kill.
Oh, that Smokes missed the Molotov. That's got himself wrecked.
Did it actually miss, or did it bounce through? We saw that, I think it was during the EU Minor that happened once.
My initial reaction is it missed, but now I'm doubting myself. Either way, you could see that he played as if it was going to extinguish and then plume instantly. Yeah. But the really sick part about what happened at the beginning is Krad, I think it was Krad, went for the peek, and he had the right idea. He knew there was a player up on the logs. He tagged him through the wall, which was Gospodarov, and then he just gets one-tapped. The one-tap of Dreams behind the Molotov. It forced him out into the open. cool passage of play, and it's going to cost DreamEaters dearly. And because of the double op setup that they went in for, there's a heavy investment. They really have to save these 2 guns.
Well, looks like they might be successful with it. Not a super aggressive hunt coming up from Warthox here. Even though they do actually have the money for it, we can see Mincy pushing up towards Apps, and he does have Jackpot around the corner. We'll actually be able to find Forcer as well, but the most important weapon did stay in the hands of DreamEaters. That's the op on speed.
Downside is, though, only keeping 1 player alive. I don't think they can drop enough guns to go for a decent buy here. So
yeah, you don't really want to force into this. If you can do a half buy, then that's fine. Otherwise, just see what speed can actually do.
Especially with a 14-9 lead, you don't want to throw away this lead. You know you've got a bit of a buffer still.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll play cautiously.
They're going to go with the boost as well. That is unfortunate. Flash just making it past the angle that they've set up. Op's still going to be maintained. But the Brood's kind of been dealt with at this stage. It's not going to sting as much, the defensive DreamEaters at this stage. Forcer finds one with the Deagle, but needs to find, well, 2 more or so to stay afloat.
Sviat, who has been running the second AWP duties at times, going to be coming up big with the frag. Of course, it dropped from speed.
Now, honestly, if you're Sviat, you just bail out. You run away from the situation, and then Crad, you can kind of hang out, see if you can get into a position where you can potentially pick up one of these 2 weapons that have gone down. And you see that as a bit of a win for this round. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, 2 kills, AWP saved. Definitely think that is a pretty successful round, all things considered. They really only came into the round with an AWP and a few half buys. So can dip in deep and come up with a healthy purchase. But this is Warthox now moving to 10 rounds. I do wonder if maybe DreamEaters decide to pull the plug for a few moments and call a timeout and just rummage together a few ideas, because this is starting to get into that position where they're only a loss or 2 away from being tied up.
That's very true. One of the things that we definitely saw in the Americas Minor was heavy usage of timeouts, and oftentimes having pretty good effect as well. I do get the sense that we're going to see less of that here in the CIS and the Asian Minor, but I mean, we're always ready to be positively surprised.
I mean, you even have teams like Furia that would call a timeout after winning, just to make sure they didn't concede the next round, you know, just to keep that momentum in their favor. But DreamEaters deciding they're going to go aggressive in Banana again. So fortunate with the kill. The wild spray yields the kill, and they're able to back away and take no casualties, not even a single point of damage.
That's a bit of a beauty if you're DreamEaters, especially because you activate the MP9 as well, which is the weakest weapon you have on your side.
And it's money in the bank too. They obviously can't get their hands on the fallen weapon. Now trading across is problem to the AWP. Downside here is that both the B defenders are playing fairly passive at the back towards the oranges. Now, if Molotovs start to fire down, there is only 1 molly in their hands. It could become a bit of a nuisance, but they're backing away anyway. Seems like they have the target painted on A. And they're looking to try and plunder what remains. Mincy taking point in Apps. Meanwhile, 2 players up mid. They're keeping problem on the B side, try and maybe catch some transitional players at speed. Somehow able to get 1 after he missed his first shot. I thought he was just going to bow out with nothing really done. Forrester trying to pick up the slack. What a shot by Jackpot. It's had a very quiet game so far. Huge time to step up tall. Plant follows. Just his 6th kill.
That could actually be what decides the round as well. Rotation just starting to come in for DreamEaters as well, so it's going to take quite some while. Actually, Krad's just decided to give up on this. That's early. Still had nades, you still have diffuse kits, but just not interested. Or if he is, he's taking... There's a weird way of showing it. There we go, yeah. AWP gathered, away we go.
They have significantly improved their weaponry, though. They've got an SG and they've picked up an AWP.
Yep.
So it is a really solid takeout of the round. But yeah, as you say, it was this weird flirtation idea of like, do we go for it or no?
Krad seemed pretty set in his way that he was having no participation in that one, but yeah, it felt like it was a doable position to do it in. You've got 2 smokes, you've got a flash, you can section off pit, you can throw that secondary smoke towards either on top of the bomb or smoke off apps. There's plenty of avenues you can go about it with the time that you had allotted to you, but I guess they felt like it was a little bit out of reach considering the fact that they still had two players on B more or less, just full on at the time of bomb going down.
Thing is, we have reached that point, the precipice, where going for these more passive plays is no longer really viable. You've got to start to think about closing out this map because Warthox are breathing down your necks now. 14-11, your economy is on the tipping point. You lose this, you're looking at ecos, you're looking at potentially even a 14-14 score. So this timeout really called just to figure out exactly what they want to be rummaging through. Do they change anything? It's going to be 3 players to kick off on B. Maybe some banana control is imminent.
Molotov goes down at least. Similar precision from Kinky Zeus. Might get flashed around the corner here. Yep. There's an attempt at the very least, but he's not going to win out his duels yet, though. Able to find the reply. Not taking necessarily too much damage either for it. So be okay with that as the CTs, even though equal numbers do favor the T side here as we see the 2-2 split once again. It's so hard to hold A with only 2 players.
Gospodarov took so much damage in banana from the Molotov. Nearly outright burnt from 100%. As you say, though, 2 players on A is going to be an issue, so they're going to trek over Krad to bolster up with the 3rd player. This leaves Fiat by himself with 56 HP.
I thought for a second Krad wanted to jump on top of the box there. Somehow actually spots out Flash. All right, then. That's a bomb dropped as well. That's such a big get.
He only got a 2nd kill as well. Gospodarov was so close to taking a stray bullet. That could have been the round done. As it stands, they have retrieved the bomb. They had the option to pull back towards B, but it seems like they're wanting to commit fully to A site with just shy of 30 seconds on the timer. They're going to have to go in. Mincy going to be taking point right outside of the apps, but he's come up worse for wear. Easy frag from Speed 4K, and Forrester finishes it off. So finally, they've got themselves back on the board. That's going to be 15-11 for map, pardon me, points.
Map point for DreamEaters on Warthox map pick. That's definitely not something you want to see if you're all the boys in blue here. Well then. So far, though, had a pretty decent showing on the T side. Maybe they can string together another few fair rounds. Could break the economy of DreamEaters and have a hope at it still. Quick run boost there. Nearly catches shoulder. Oh, and meanwhile, Sviat gets caught out by utility on the side of Warthox. Combination of a nade and Molotov is going to do him in. Man advantage lies with the T's.
He got obliterated by the grenade, slowed down in the Molotov, and there's just absolutely no hope for him to escape. So that is going to put a lot of pressure early doors. Maybe draw out some utility, some nades being tossed in. Negligible damage, not really doing anything to problem. Does put him in headshot range of the M4s, at least.
If close enough.
I always get nervous when I see someone try and spray with the SG, because it just feels so weird to control.
Does it? Does manage to handle it eventually, so survives with 7 HP, and that's really all that matters at this stage. But look at the gamble stack from DreamEaters here. It's going to be the dream move. Well, kind of jumps the gun, but Krad's there to make up for it. Speed still in a position where he can do some damage. Is he going to go for the bomb denial? Slow about it. Scene 1.
Oh, this is huge.
Oh,
I was gonna
Did he get spotted by the guy with new box?
I think he may have. Maybe it was the barrel of the gun just around the corner.
I'm real curious because there's literally no reason for Gospodarov to actually turn around in that scenario.
I was thinking he's playing this so patiently, and if Gospodarov goes elsewhere, like towards CT, and can get that quick kill onto new box, like that round becomes Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I mean, they might be. I mean, they might be aware of the fact that there's an op in play. We're gonna 1v3. He's probably saving, right? Probably saving. Fair enough. So they run off to siege bomb. They want to go for a hunt. They want to see if they can get that weapon out of his hands.
Oh, headshot into problem. That grenade could finish him off. Not quite. It was too shallow.
Oh, still alive. Just gets another chance to do some damage here. The wrap around Arch is going to come in.
Oh, Speed could be in the thick of it. Rushing out of library. Forrester's now going to take the initiative. But a barrage of SG bullets finishes him off. Krad and Sviat. Do you have Kevlar and a smoke? Gonna have enough for a buy now that some money's on the horizon for them. But we aren't going to be going the distance, more than likely. Easy kills in the end. Warthox moved 2 rounds away, 15-13. It's going to be a full buy, and a healthy one at that, but the pressure's got to be mounting now for DreamEaters. They had such a decent lead, and it's suddenly just been cut into pieces.
It really has, and it's them getting picked apart just solely. I mean, one of the things they did really well for themselves early stage of the CT side, and also very good job of on the T side as well, was always having someone, you know, on your team around you, having that trade potential every single time. That's kind of gone by the wayside here. So needs to take a step back and find their roots. Let's just see Mincy moving up towards Apps with the Krieg. He's got the bomb with them as well. It's going to be a random contact play. There we go. Yeah, one flash all it takes to get one down into pit. He's going to get tagged up though. Speed doing a whole lot of damage.
3 kills back to back though. Problem gets 2 of them. This round looked like it was done. This map looked like it was done. But as it stands, Warthox also have enough time to get into good post-plant positions due to Sviat being a little bit slow through mid.
They've got 2 Molotov as well, so as soon as they get confirmation that anybody's there, oh, that goes really deep actually.
They're looking for the counteractive play. He's going to try and catch Warthox with aggression. Spinning around is Krad. Sviat with 1, gets the second! And that is the round and the map going to go the way of DreamEaters. And it got very close at the end, but they are going to win the opposition's choice of map.
Damn it, that was without them actually. I was so sure that they were going to put up a Molotov behind the smoke and then dive onto the side, but they held on to the Molotov for so long. Just ended up taking the gun battles instead. But in the end, they do steal away the map pick of Warthox, so no complaints from the side of DreamEaters as they get off to a flying start in this best of 3 series.